Hello. Um, hello. Um, it is me, Aaron Kokolay, and this is me just talking to the camera, and I kind of just wanted to talk about my songwriting process, I guess, and kind of, I don't know. I don't know why I wanted to make this video. That's very ugly. Sorry. Um, Yeah, I think I just wanted to talk about my experiences songwriting and just kind of think about like the work I've made over the year. And I don't know, I've seen a lot of like sit down and talk videos and I've always been intrigued and been like, oh, I want to make one of those, but I've never like kind of really done it. It always feels really awkward, so I feel like this is a good option. Oh my god, I'm getting spots everywhere. It's very good, isn't it? Yes. Um, where do I even begin? I think it's good for me to kind of go from where I first. I don't even want to say where I first started. Like with music, I feel like it's always been one of those things which are very like. Um, I've always really enjoyed music. I've never known exactly what I kind of wanted to do in music. I know I've always enjoyed it, and it was one of those things like in primary school, I was trying to play a guitar. I was trying to play and play and play my fucking guitar. I just realized I was shit. I was like, why can I not play this guitar? Right? And so I just kept going and going. And then I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm not interested in this fucking guitar. I know I have a guitar there. You can't see it. It looks like some kind of shadow creature right now. But yes. Um, where was I going with that? Oh yes. I kind of tried piano. No, I tried guitar for so long, and then it kind of just threw me off to a point where I was like, shit, I'm shit at instruments. And when I tried picking up piano, and funnily enough, I picked up piano way faster than I was picking up guitar, and I was like, why am I better at piano than guitar, even though I've always wanted to do piano since primary school. Bear in mind, I only started like trying to learn piano in high school, so I don't really understand like what was going on there, but that's fine, I guess. I don't know. But regardless, I mean, I never got a grade in like music anyway. Like as much as I tried. Listen, I got the book. I got the damn book for the guitar thing, and then by the time I was like, okay, I want to do an examination for it, they were like, so that book is actually out of date now, and you have to learn the new book. And I was like, fuck that. Like I'm not interested. I'm not paying again to learn music. And I kind of just realized, okay, you know what? If I want to do music at any point in my life, it'll be at my own terms. I'm gonna do it at home, and it'll be something that I want to do myself because it was getting in the way of school as well, and I really wanted like it was just really distracting me, like coming out of lesson and just trying to do it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just not gonna do that. Anyways, that kind of brings me on to why I started songwriting. I think I've always wanted a diary, or I've always wanted to like talk because I kind of love talking. I think this is one of those things where it's like, ooh, but I don't know. I really do enjoy having a conversation and I really enjoy socializing. But sometimes, this is going to sound very cliche, but I feel it's true for a lot of artists. It's the fact that, like, I feel sometimes there's things what, like, I'll have a conversation with someone and some people really get me. But sometimes, no matter how much I try and explain something to someone or anyone even like they're not really gonna get it 100%, you know what I mean? And I feel like even if I have like feelings or like whatever it is, negative or positive feeling, like something where I like let's say I'm in love with someone, or let's say like I hate someone, or let's say someone's upset me or something like that, it's thinking about like oh, like, do even if I explain this whole thing to them, will they 100% get what I'm saying? And I guess songwriting was that kind of thing, what kind of like let me kind of do that. Like, I'm able to talk to people where I would never either have the courage to talk to them, or I would never have the opportunity to say something to them again, or something like that, or write about a feeling or something. But I don't. Did I turn American there? That's fine. I'm not American, just to be clear. Um, yeah. Anyways, I tried producing. I did try producing. I tried producing in high school, and I think actually I was trying to do like God knows what. Like, I think I was doing like, oh, I know. I was going on Splice and I was trying to make beats, and then I was trying to sing over those beats. But first of all, I had no singing ability. Second of all, I mind you, I still don't think I have singing ability, but that's a separate point. You know, like my singing ability, I think I'm a better writer than a singer, and I just have to. But it has to be me who sings it. That's why I sing. I don't necessarily think I'm a very great, talented singer. But anyway, yeah, I tried. I really tried, and it was so bad. And then I remember specifically in high school, I tried to do a God is a Woman cover, and I put it on YouTube, and it got 1,000 views, and I was like, oh my God, but it was my entire high school which was watching it. And it was so bad. It was so bad. I remember that, and I remember sharing that link to this one friend. We will not name who she is, but I sent it to her, and I was like, what do you think? And that girl, can I swear? I don't know. I don't know how YouTube works. That's fine. Um, I told her don't share it to anyone. Like, just tell me what you think. And that bitch, she shared it to everyone. Of course she did. Of course she did. So, um, yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that, but the point was, high school really undermined my ability to kind of be creative. I kind of realized like, oh, no matter if I want to be creative, I just feel like I'm always going to be suppressed in that. And then I think college was kind of where I was exposed to so much more, and I kind of realized, okay, like I kind of see that I'm more of a creative person. Like I like doing my A levels and stuff like that. Tried like more like not like I tried like geography and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not feeling it. And I kind of had this little acting, like I was acting alongside to kind of like support me, because first of all, I loved film, TV, theatre, drama, whatever. Like I just love drama. So in the sense that performance, okay. Um, yes, and that kind of led me into this little thing of like, oh, I really like artsy stuff. So there I went into film. And then kind of as I was studying film and stuff, I really kind of exposed myself to like score, not only score, but also bands, because I never really listened to bands until college, in my opinion. Like I was listening to like really gay artists. Like I was listening to Ariana Grande and Doja Cat, no shame. That was just like where I was. And you know what? That's fine, because I think pop, like to be honest, I'm not very limited by genre, but with music, I feel like I'm very inspired by like pop melody and like how catchy it is, and the structure that like pop has. Like I think it's so well done, and I think, in my opinion, the mix and master for pop is so good and so kind of easy to accomplish. I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's way easier in comparison to rock and stuff. And I really like how clean and crisp you can make like it sound. You know, there's this one Oceanico song. Sorry, I actually sound so like 2025 core, but there's this one Oceanico song. I forgot the name of the mix and master on that. It was a recent album and it was so good. I was like, I don't listen to this girl's music, but the mix and master on that is insane. It's really good. Anyways, back to my journey. Um, yeah, and then I got into uni, and I was like, oh, I really want to start making music. And I think it was at a time where I was getting very undermined for like how good I would be doing arts and stuff like that. And I kind of was like, fuck it. So I started releasing like, well, I found a producer, and I think it was my friend's, like, yeah, it was my friend from drama. Like, I went to drama workshops, and it was my friend from drama workshops. I was like, who do you work with? And he was like, oh, I know his producer. We went to the same like college, I think, together. And I was like, sure, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out. Um, and then I did, and then kind of we built that relationship, kind of trying to. I think I was trying to going for something like very electronic pop sound because I think that's what I really like was into at the time because I loved like alternative. I mean, like I love alternatives like culture anyway, but specifically I was really into like scene 2000s kind of sounding like electronic music, like very much going into kind of like Broken Clyde kind of like vibe, like that kind of territory, if you get what I'm saying. So I kind of wanted to make something very 2000s-y, and I accomplished that. But then, I mean, it was good because when I was writing that song as well, I got kind of a lot of like, okay, I'm gonna be a bad bitch, kind of like energy out, and it was really nice to kind of like have that. But then it kind of, how do I put this? I kind of realized with songwriting, well, I did that whole era and it was really fun. It was really cool. And it was like, we did this whole music video and everything. And then I started working on the next song as that song was like going out. And I was like, I kind of want to make something a little bit more like heavier, like more rock like vibe because I know that sounds, it sounds really fake, I know. But you know what? Fuck the metal elitists. Like I literally don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make my music. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. If I want to do electronic one day, and then if I want to do rock the other day, that's fine because it's my music. I'll choose what I want in my discography. But anyway, I was writing "Made for Your Love," and I was kind of I can't even remember who. I don't know if "Made for Your Love" was about a specific person. I'm sure it was, but at that time I wasn't even writing on paper. I was writing in I think like notes or something like that. And I think I was just kind of upset with like kind of the feeling of not being able to kind of be wanted by someone. And kind of that's always a feeling I've always struggled with, kind of feeling like, oh, I'm kind of never gonna really be good enough for someone, and I'm never gonna be, as the title says, made for your love, right? And I guess I kind of realized, okay, like all my writing's always gonna be personal, but with Made for Your Love, I think I was going through a lot of the time. I think I was very stressed from uni, and on top of that I was very much like going through a lot in terms of like change, like I was developing as a person and I feel like I didn't fully know myself yet, and I feel songwriting has really helped with that because I kind of was able to like write out emotions and feelings. And I remember when I was writing Made for Your Love, like um I think I don't know even like where I started. I think I started with chorus. Yeah. I started with the chorus and I was recording, I'm not even joking, I was recording my vocals on Audacity just because it was free. Um which is, you know what, that's fine. It did the job at the time, but I've moved on to bigger and better things, also known as the Logic Pro free trial. um One day I will be able to afford it. Um maybe I should buy it. Maybe I should buy it soon. Because I heard you can get a student discount, and I'm still a student. So yeah, I'm revealing so much about myself online. um. Anyways, yeah, my kind of thing with Made for Your Love, I think I was just being shaped by like emotion, and especially so after I wrote the first chorus, I'm pretty sure I wrote the first chorus first. I was writing the verse, and and at that point I wasn't even writing anymore. Like basically, I helped Lila. Like I gave Lila some like references. Lila's my producer, if I didn't say. And I was like, look, this is kind of the vibe I really want it to be, and she kind of made the track, like fleshed out the track, and then like I cut some parts out of it, and then like I was like, okay, it's ready. So then that's when I started, you know what I mean, that's when I started writing for it. Because I write, I mean, nowadays I write, and then I'll get back to Lila with like stuff. Sorry, I am very like ADHD core. um I don't know if I have ADHD, so I don't want to just say that, but yes. um yes. um I had a point. I did have a point to make. Yes, I think I wanted to. Oh, what I was trying to say. Let's just go back to the song because I don't know what I was gonna go off on. With the song, I just started saying it. I was recording over it, and I kind of blurted out all the feelings I was feeling at the time about like guys and my relationships and my sexuality and how I felt I was being perceived by people and specifically men. And that was kind of what inspired that. And to be honest, like I think the lyrics for Made for Your Love are a little bit cringe now that I look back on it. When I was writing that at like how old was I? Like I probably started writing like bit because I write bits and bobs in notes, right? But then like when I in terms of actually fleshing out for the song specifically, I was probably writing that when I was like 18, 19. I'm 20 now, but I know that's not far away, but I feel a lot has changed about me personally just purely because of songwriting and just experience, I guess, with things and people and guys and whatever. And um I guess that kind of really flesh it out because I kind of did it and then it was like, oh wow, this kind of works for the song as well. Like it's really good. Like it just came out of me naturally and I was getting really emotional. I think especially so I recorded the first chorus and then I copied the chorus onto this like second chorus. I know you well if you're here you care, so here we are. And when I was writing that song, it kind of like the second chorus was just like, okay, I'm just gonna write the chorus, like I'm just gonna paste it over. But then the last chorus, I had to do the little ad libs, and I got so emotional at that point. I literally started like wanting to cry, recording it, and I think you can hear when you like listen deep into like the higher vocal tracks, you kind of hear like a little bit of like crying, like when you have like the crying voice, when you've cried after like for so long and then like you get like that in your like throat. That's kind of what happened there. But yeah, I mean, in terms of a process for that song, it was very like just I barely did anything in terms of producing it. But then in terms of writing, it was really like grounding for me. And we released it and we did the whole thing and we did the music video and everything. Oh, that music video was so much work, but that's that's not the point of this little video. And um yeah, it helped a lot because I kind of realized, oh my god, this is the sound that I fucking love. And it kind of made me way more open into like listening to like kind of more like I was already listening to a lot of like music that was kind of similar, like in this way. I think what inspired me in terms of a production for that song was kind of I was listening to like you're gonna be like, Aaron, so basic, but hear me out. As someone who like grew up in a first generation kind of Asian household, kind of figuring out like what um I like figuring out my own taste, figuring out my personality, figuring out like what music do I actually like and not just for generic radio shit, you know what I mean? Like what do I actually like, what do I actually not like? Because at the time I was still forming myself, in my opinion, like I feel like everybody around me, still now, I still feel like everyone kind of has a sense of like what they're doing and they kind of know who they are and what they want to be. I'm still figuring that out. And I know that you're gonna be like, not you personally, because you can't say anything back to me, but you could probably say like, oh, like, but everyone is figuring himself out. But I still feel I'm always like 2 steps behind everyone else, and I feel like people kind of have a sense that they do know what they're doing, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm saying that out loud. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I just feel like I ask so many questions as well. I'm like, bro, am I like, you know, the cycle of reincarnation? Like, I genuinely feel like I'm first. Like, I feel like I just came onto this earth like not knowing shit, and some people feel like they just know stuff, and I'm like, why do you just know that, you know what I mean? Anyways, well, that kind of built me up, and when I was starting to write Eroded into Skin, and Eroded into Skin kind of, it was way more like I was listening to way more goth rock, like I was listening to Typo Negative, and I was starting to get into like Susie and the Banshees, I would say, like is that kind of thing. And um Twin Tribes, but Twin Tribes really, really shaped the sound of that track. Twin Tribes are so good. And then I went to see them and I saw Wingtips as well. I think it was around that. Maybe I no, I think my song maybe released before that, but Wingtips was also very formative to my sound now anyway. But they both really helped, and I kind of really got into like that kind of genre just because I moved from this sound from Made for Your Love with like Deftones kind of combined with like nu metal and kind of really like modern metal sound, which was kind of inspired by like, if you know like Poppy's production style. If you listen to like Bad Omens, for one, you know Van by Bad Omens and Poppy. For one, that's like very electronic. It's giving like GLaDOS, like from Portal 2, like that kind of vibe with the music video and everything. Like that kind of shaped the sound of that track. Like I wanted something like that was like, it's a rock song, but then like it's kind of got elements of like electronic and stuff into it, because I was still trying to bridge this gap between like electronic and rock. And then with Eroding to Skin, it was more of a case where I was like, oh, actually, I kind of want to get into um like goth rock and something a bit darker. And I think at the time, the time between Made for Your Love and Eroding to Skin was very emotional for me. I was going through a lot. I was losing friends. I was so focused on like my work and everything. I think at that time, in between Made for Your Love and Eroding to Skin, I went under surgery for like I just had some kind of health problems. Um, I want to be vague because I don't know who's gonna watch this. Um, but yeah, like it kind of really very American. It kind of really helped me hit the ground running and kind of go into like, what can I do with vocals? How can I layer my vocals? And I kind of was really toying around with like vocal layers, going really high, trying to push my voice into a like thing at like the start of Eroded into Skin, and kind of really doing a songwriting process that was a bit more, it sounds bad, but I was trying to be more edgy with my like lyricism. Like I feel like Made for Your Love was very straightforward, blunt, very like forward, but it was very modern, and I really didn't like that the writing was very modern. It was like it's little things like, and you text me every night and you tell me about your dreams when it's you that I want, and you know what I need. You know what I mean. Like that is very like modern to me. I feel like I want my lyrics to kind of be timeless in a way. I mean, that's how I kind of think of them now. You know what I mean? Like where I try to be, but at the same time, what comes out is what comes out. And then like, even though I might regret a lyric, I might regret a lyric from the past. I feel like now I kind of look back on it and I'm like, well, that's how I felt at the time. It's fine. You know what I mean? Although I would say there was like one song, "Party on the Night," which was the electronic song, but I took that out from everything because I was like, it doesn't feel right in my whole discography. Like that, I feel like that song is very much like, okay, it was the first song I ever kind of like really did a proper production and like writing for, but it just doesn't fit like me. Like it didn't resonate with me at all. Like the writing, everything, like it just felt like I was trying to give this fake personality of being confident. I'm just not. Like I'm not a confident person. Like I act it and I pretend to be it, but at the end of the day, like, I'm just not. And that song felt like I was pretending to be someone, which is kind of the reason why I took that down as well. You know. So now my discography starts with "Made for Your Love," but yeah, I mean, um, you go from "Eroded into Skin," and then what came after "Eroded into Skin"? I think I was writing "Give It Up for You." Let me check my discography. I think. Oh yeah, it definitely was. I was starting to write "Give It Up for You" because I went through this thing where in I went back home basically from London to Manchester, and I went back and I met with this guy who I'd been talking to since, I don't know, we were mutual since like college or something like that, maybe end of college. Maybe when I started uni, something like that. And I was like, I've been on and off talking with him. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to meet him. And we were going out and stuff. And I kind of realized, oh my God, like, I'm actually like so stupid. I'm actually falling for him. And kind of, it kind of made me realize, oh, like I can be in love and stuff like that. Like, of course I knew I've always wanted to be in love, you know? But in the sense that like, oh, like I really feel in love with this guy that I've been on like been out with a few times. And when I started texting about it and like it was getting to a point where we were being flirty, you know? Um but then it was kind of like, oh, you know what, like I don't want a relationship actually, and I know that sounds bad, but I'm telling you now that's like just not what I'm looking for. And that kind of really like broke me because like he was a bit like, oh, um I guess it's my real first situationship, and I just hate that word. It's very like modern. Like, why are you getting yourself into that? You know what I mean? But like in the sense that like, you know what, I thought we were actually both really into each other, and like he goes like that. And I'm not stupid. I knew it wasn't gonna end up well, but it was more of a case where I was like, okay, you've said I love you. I've said I love you. So what now? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of crazy, isn't it? And so it kind of inspired in terms of my writing process. It's always personal. Like I've always been like, oh, I wish I could write characters and write things like that. Like especially because I do like I love film just as much as I love music. I think they're both so intertwined. But I was just like, I cannot I cannot write, and I think that's why I'm not a very good script writer either. I cannot write what I do not know. And I love writing something personal, and songwriting allows me to be so personal and write things that are so close to my heart, and I can write this whole thing about someone, and it's fine. It's art, and it becomes its own thing. And oh God, that sounds so pretentious. Ugh. Anyways, um, yeah, like Give It Up For You kind of was really a song that I think I kind of was really getting inspired by like Ethel Cain and kind of really slow stuff. and I was listening to a lot of like Inbred EP and kind of really liking the sound on Unpunishable, and then kind of a Preacher's Daughter, really liking Gibson Girl. I've always thought Unpunishable is a lot like sonically to me it feels a lot more stronger than Gibson Girl, even though Gibson Girl has a higher production value, I'd say, like in terms of like not even value. Oh, product like it just like I know it's crafted way more like in depth, in more detail, if that makes sense, than Unpunishable. But I really like Unpunishable. I don't give a fuck. That's one of my favorite songs from her. I think Hayden is very talented, but that's besides the point. With the song, I wanted it to be really um deep. Like I really wanted to start pushing myself to write, especially since Eroded Skin. I really wanted to start pushing myself more into writing stuff that was a bit um more artistic, more like less blunt and more meaning behind the words and crafting, like even if it didn't resemble a full story at that time, kind of pieces that fit together and words that sound nice together and kind of almost like poetry kind of like really go together and kind of express meaning and feeling without being so blunt. I really wanted to explore that with language. Um so I was seeing if I have my little journal, and I was just seeing if I had written this anywhere, but I don't think I do. I think I have notes on it. Um, oh yeah, give it up for you. Hmm. Okay, now let's not do that. Anyway, but we've give up. Look, I know from my head. I was just like ADHD, like brain rot. Like that's how I feel. Like so much of the time at the moment. Anyways, um, yeah. With that song, it was very like I think it's like I remember it starts with like flashing photos of me naked crawling into a bed. My heart stops. I surrender. Would you love me if I'm dead? And what kind of sets a tone of like pornography and kind of feeling like exposed all the time in like my relationships and kind of feeling immediately with like especially that first line flashing photos of me naked um it's kind of like sending nudes. Like that's kind of what I was like thinking of. Like when you take naked like photography of you and yourself and you share that with someone just to get a kick out of it, just to get like some kind of emotional reaction and kind of be like, oh, actually I am wanted, you know, and I like, you know, someone out there wants me. And I was craving so much of that emotional affection. I would be happy to give such a sensitive part of myself up to some stranger on the internet just to be told that I look pretty or I look nice or that I would be fuckable, you know? Um or that someone would want to be fucked. But who am I kidding? Um so I guess with that, like it was I don't know, just the feeling of being wanted. And it goes like, my heart stops, I surrender. Would you love if I'm dead? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, just little stuff like that, you know. Um, but then also with "Give It Up for You," I think I was exploring the idea. By the way, may I add, Give It Up For You took so long to produce. So, Lover's Inferno, as the EP, was kind of the very start of me starting to really get involved in production. And I would get very specific to a point where I'm starting to now co-produce with Lila, and I was starting to send sounds and start to send like, okay, I want this embedded here, I want this like here, and then she would kind of arrange it with me, and then I would take bits and then kind of add my own things onto it, like vocally and kind of also sounds, and give that back to her, you know. And we kind of worked really collaboratively like that. Bear in mind, like, we don't work together like physically, like we work remotely, so we send each other like back and forth all the time, you know. um and I guess in that sense, like, um it kind of really helped me with Give It Up For You figure out, actually, having minimal vocal layers can really make an impact, because I can control exactly where sound is and where my vocals can sit. And with Give It Up For You, I was toying with stereo, and I was toying with, okay, how if I um double my vocals, like one channel and the other, and just have it like, it's like very ooh, but it sounds very weird on like a phone speaker or like something like that, for example. Do you know what I mean? But it's like a very interesting sound in your ears, and I was very interested by that. And I was also interested in panning. So with the second verse, when it goes, "Am I in too deep?" You know, like that part. Um, and then it like starts swooshing through. I kind of wanting to create the feeling of like being confused and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I guess, especially when I was thinking of Lover's Inferno as the EP, I knew this EP was going to be about love, because that was such a big topic for me at the time, and it's still a big topic that's relevant to me now, I guess. But I really needed that EP to get out all the emotions I was feeling about that topic, and being hurt, and kind of going through the journey of falling in love, really falling for someone, wanting to do anything for someone, and then kind of getting over it. Or did I really get over it? Contemplation of that. And that's why it's kind of inspired by Dante's Inferno, kind of like the layers of hell, and kind of how it gets worse between each layer as you progress into it. And that's kind of a feeling I wanted to create with like this slow burn song that Give It Up For You was. And then I knew that I would get slowly more intense and intense and intense with the other songs. So Give It Up For You was months in the making, and as I was making Give It Up For You, we started writing Buried Under, and Buried Under was a very simple, in terms of production, it was pretty simple. Like, I'm pretty sure we got it in like a day or two, like the production, like the actual instrumental of the song. And then kind of in terms of writing, I wrote it, but then I don't know if I was just ill or whatever at the time. Like, I couldn't get my pitch right, and I had to get like help to literally just like get my pitch right on the vocals, because it sounded really weird. And I still think Buried Under is one of those songs where it's like, I don't know how to explain. It's one of those songs where it was like, okay, this is a sound I've wanted to achieve all my life, but it's just not like, it's not getting there. Like, when I'm saying it's not getting there, like, okay, I've made it, but actually my voice doesn't suit this style of music. I kind of realize, in my opinion, it doesn't anyway. Um, but Buried Under was a very good catharsis. It's kind of like, I feel the lyrics are very like generic. It's like, you left me buried under 6 feet deep, and no one hears a thing. Like, shut up, Aaron. Shut up. Yeah. Anyways, that was Buried Under. It's kind of the journey from Give It Up For You being like really, especially at the end of Give It Up For You, may I add, the end of Give It Up For You, I was so unconfident about. And I was like, to be honest, it took all the way until the end of me recording the entire EP for me to fix it about and be like, okay, now I'm happy. Because I was spending too long listening to it and really tweaking out over oh my god, like it just sounds bad. Like I don't know if these high vocals sound good, but it allowed me to play with that. And I still think Give It Up You's a strong song, but I come back to it in very specific moments. But I love the production on Give It Up For You. I think it's so good. Um, but yeah, anyway, like from Buried Under, it kind of goes into like what does it go into? It goes into Know Your Body. And Know Your Body, well, at this moment in time, we are planning a little something for it. And I think it does deserve a little something. Although I've kind of like been and done that song, I feel now. But I think it'll be good to get out of the way. But Know Your Body is very much a sexy kind of raunchy song. And I was like, I think I was going through a lot of like gay porn films at the time. Like, I think I watched a little bit of Adam and Ives, and I was like, ooh, looks interesting. And like, I think there was this other one I saw, like these gay porn movies. I Yeah, I can't remember. But anyways, the point was with Know Your Body that I wanted it to feel very like with Give It Up For You, I wanted to add these like moaning noises and kind of have this feeling of like this theme of sex and relationships throughout the whole EP. But then I felt Know Your Body was gonna be probably more appropriate to kind of add that because Know Your Body is about look, you know what? Fuck it. You don't even want me. That's kind of what we established and Give It Up For You because I'm saying I would give it all up for you. I would give my like how do I put this? Like if I have a virginity card, I would give it to you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Um and you know what I mean? I would do anything for you to just want me. That's what Give It Up For You is. And Buried Under is like, wow, you would leave me here in the dirt. But I know your body is kind of that thing of going back into the cycle and kind of being like, oh my god, like I thought I was over it, but if you gave me a kiss right now, I'd literally like I'd scrap everything I said and I'd just let it happen. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, that's what Know Your Body is. Being like, you know what? Are you really sure you don't want me? Because look what I can do. Look what we could do. And I don't need to care about ethics or morals or if you have a girlfriend or like if you don't want to be like in a relationship or not. I just want to get whatever I want out of this and being kind of like really selfish. And if anything, the writing is intentionally really cocky. Like I actually felt like I was becoming a different person writing that. But at the same time, when I was writing Know Your Body, I was kind of it was a different guy at this point, and I really was so like into him, and I was like, "You have a girlfriend, but you're flirting with me right now. Like I know exactly what we could be, you know." Um, but yeah, that's kind of what that is. Um, and then from Know Your Body, it goes like I don't know. I think Know Your Body is like one of my best songs of all time. Out of all my discography, like it's really good. I think if I didn't write, wouldn't even know at this moment in time. Like I think Know Your Body is like my top like number one song. It's like my personal favorite, and it's also I think one of the best songs. Like it's lyric like I think it's very catchy and I think it's very good. I think the lyrics are not the strongest I've ever written in my life. Um I think Ease But Ache is a lot better lyrically. I think I'm a much better like songwriter in that than I am for this. But here we are. Um, but yeah, and then kind of Know Your Body really built this thing up of like, oh my god, I can really strip down my vocals, and I can have it at the bare minimum, and I can really have impacts and emphasis when I double up my vocals on certain parts of the song, or if I add a whisper track specifically at a certain part. And I was really starting to get control of creative intention behind vocal layering and layering in production and what different sounds and what building the soundscape is like. And that was so interesting for me, sonically, but also just like writing wise. I was just like, it was so cool. And then I kind of, especially in that last little breakdown of Know Your Body, where I just wanted it to be I wanted the writing to be very plain and simple and only write when it was necessary. So I was like, let's just leave the breakdown as it is. I don't want to write over it, because I think with Made for Your Love, for one thing, I really find cringe is the breakdown. I'm like, if I could get rid of all the breakdowns in my songs, I would do that in a heartbeat, like for sure. I don't know, like I just don't like them. Like the one in Cutting with Tether, especially. When did I write that? I don't know. I think Cutting with Tether is still a good song, but I wish the breakdown wasn't there. I think it was a perfect song without a breakdown. But yeah, I kind of then with, anyways, we were on the topic of Know Your Body. Yeah, I think it was very sexually charged, and I put in that like little breakdown my, I think a sex tape or something from like that I had on my phone from just, I don't know where, I think it was a voice memo or something like that, and I just sent that, and then Lila was like, Aaron, is this you? And I was like, yes, yes it is. And she just dealt with that, and I'm so grateful she just dealt with that. So yeah, but I think it really makes it. I think it really makes the whole thing, and especially the drums, for example. Like, I kind of realized the drums kind of sound like, the intention was that it kind of sounds like the bed bouncing, like very much like when you're having like sex or whatever, and kind of like the pacing of the song is like, it goes fast because when you start, everything is very fast, and then like it slows down, you take it slow, you're being romantic, and then it like builds up again, and it gets really intense at the end, and when you get this climax in the song, like soundscape wise, you know what I mean? And that kind of represents like how like I feel making love with someone kind of is, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then from Know Your Body, it goes into this kind of ambient track. And I love a little bit of ambient. I think it's not my best ambient work, to be quite honest. If anything, it goes into a bit more of like an interlude kind of like vibe rather than being an actual ambient track, in my opinion. Like, I'm kind of working on like ambient. Like, I think I want to go into it a bit more, but I think my vocal layers on Suffered Enough, which is the ambient track's name, um like it fits where it needs to be in the project, and it gives you that break, that like, you know, after all the intensity of Know Your Body, before it transitions to Ease the Ache, where you have to have time to reflect and be like, what have I done? Oh my god, I really need to get over this. um and kind of Suffered Enough kind of goes very much like, helped me like kind of realize, like with music, to progress beyond a point of just writing, but what does sound actually shape in terms of narrative, as well as kind of like feeling and evoking a feeling from like a listener, and kind of how does this make me feel when I write it, and when I put these sounds together, how do I feel, what emotion do I want to create from this? And that was so interesting for me to learn, and I think it's something I want to do. I think I'm gonna, at the moment I'm writing like some, well, I've written some stuff for like ambient, which I'm hoping to get along with, and I think hopefully it'll come along next year. But I'm kind of trying to write this dual piece right now, and it's like the duality of kind of like um falling for someone, and I feel love is what I know, so I kind of want to write it, even though I say it's what I know, but I've never known it truly. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never been in love with someone who loves me back. You know what I mean? So I guess like I will always be stronger at writing that because I know what I feel right now and that's what I feel. So I think it's easier to write when I'm feeling it in the moment. That's the best way to describe it. So yeah. Ooh, my leg there. Um yeah. The yeah, sorted enough. And then I feel I have something to say. Oh, the dual tracks, yes. I kind of wanted to do this thing of, oh, I really like um, you know, like the romantic part of falling with someone, but at the same time, the dark side of being like, oh, I do love this person, but do they actually love me back? And kind of what I want to delve into with this project, the part, two song, like twins. I would say they're twins, you know what I mean? These two songs. The darker track, I kind of really want to explore this kind of feeling of what would it be like to use my voice as a tool to represent two voices and kind of be like my voice, but also this character of the person I like and trying to understand their perspective in a situation. Because I'm still kind of trying to get over the situation that I wrote about with Know Your Body and Ease But Ache and Wouldn't Even Know in a sense. But obviously I am really moving on from that. Like I do feel like writing those three songs have genuinely helped me so much in terms of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really helpful and I think it would be fun. And I have a really I have such when I write a song, I feel I see the visual immediately. And you know what I mean? Like as soon as I hear something, I can see it. Like that's the best way I can describe it. So I guess why music and sound go so well with film for me because it's vice versa. And if I see an image, I can feel like sound in my brain. Like that's the only way I can describe it. But yeah, I don't know. Um, and then I guess with Ease But Ache, it was supposed to be this slow, kind of evanescency, kind of piano vibe, and I've always wanted to delve back into piano because I was like, oh, I love me my piano. Like I miss when I used to write with piano. So I was trying to do some things with piano when I went back home for like I don't know when it was maybe like Christmas, like January or something. No, I was back for my birthday, maybe something like that. Um, and I wanted to try some things on piano, and then like I was like, Lila, I really want to do something with piano. So we kind of were going back and forth, and that's how Ease But Ache kind of like turned out, like this nice dramatic piano thing, and kind of heavy and dark. And we brought the original thing for Ease But Ache down by like the pitch down like so far, and it became this really dark like track. It wasn't very 2000s anymore. It became very like modern, but I loved it. And I think Ease But Ache, like even though it's slow, and it's kind of boring in my opinion, I think it's a very solid track in terms of writing, and I feel like I was really able to like. I'm really proud of the writing on that track. Like I think it's one of my best, even if it's not necessarily like the most sonically appealing as like Know Your Body, for instance, you know. So yeah, and then kind of we get on to Wouldn't Even Know, which funny enough juxtaposes like everything that I've like worked so hard to get to, like trying to do metaphorical stuff and stuff like that. I went straight back into blunt songwriting, and when I was writing it, Wouldn't Even Know, basically for production, I don't know if you can hear it, but you can very much hear Hello Good No Doubt in it. And I was really inspired by like the noise, kind of the sound of the noise and like rock and kind of like this like pop rock kind of vibe. But I don't want to say it's pop rock. Like I just feel like it's a bit more like funky is the best way I can describe it. Like it's way more that kind of vibe. I'm shit with genre, but I know what I like and what I don't like. Do you know what I mean? And I feel it's one of those like where I'm like, oh my god, like I wanted something fun. I was like, oh my god, I want to write something fun. I want to like do a little fun track after the trauma that was making Lovers Inferno. I was like, I don't want to do a big project like that for a long time now because that took months and months and months. Like, Give It Up For You, I started writing that December last year, and we only finished the entire EP by summer. So it was like 6 months, maybe more, of like working on that EP. So it was a lot, like, to be honest, and I felt like I didn't make like my best work either. So I think I'm gonna stick to singles for now, or at least like with one or two songs at a time. You know what I mean? I know it's better for marketing as well. Even though I'm not trying to think really about marketing. I kind of realized like I've been trying to market, but then like I just don't care. I want to make music, and I'm pretty content with that. And hopefully one day it just is enough. Like my passion for it to like get me somewhere. I don't know if it will be film or music or whatever, but I'm passionate about it. But yeah, I guess in that sense, I kind of get onto Wouldn't Even Know, and kind of that naughty sound, and then kind of I was really mad. I was really mad at the guy after writing Ease But 8, kind of being like a dickhead and kind of being like, oh, I do like you and I want to stay in touch with you. But he was like, oh, but like I'm uncomfortable about this and I don't think we should talk over summer and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But then I kind of realized, oh my god, I've built up so much resentment and I was such a dick to everyone around me because of this one situation. Like, why? Do you know what I mean? And so I kind of built this thing of like, okay, I really need to get this off my chest. Like, I'm really angry. Um, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was angry. I was just like, I'm gonna write like a fun little song. Like, it'll be fine because we got the sonic part of it down. First of all, we started with like these really crunchy like synths. It was like do 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 do, and then it was like, okay, that's too crunchy. Let's like narrow it down. Let's try and get it in like the kind of era that like I was trying to go for. And then we got to the sound of Wouldn't Even Know, and it was like, this is perfect. And we didn't even do the guitars until like last minute. Like after we only added like guitars like after I wrote it because we were like, sounds pretty good like without it so far. So I wrote the vocals, and I was writing, and like literally it was like, oh my god, let's even see, like it was like, I didn't even notice that you had no reason, couldn't let me down if you hadn't even tried. Would you even care? Cause she's by your side. Should have made a note of every lie. And obviously that changed. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so much. I've started like I love writing on paper now because it's like I can see my process rather than writing digitally. I just think that's so much better being able to see your process of like thinking and like writing and actually being creative. You know what I mean? Like even the chorus, it was like, you wouldn't even know, can't even look me in the eye. So it didn't work. So that's why I changed. Can't see eye to eye. And then it was like, you fucked me in the face. Can't I throw it all away because then you took me by surprise. But then it didn't really work. So then it kind of changed into, you wouldn't even know, can't see things eye to eye. I burn it all away. Because you took me by surprise. Because I was like, fucked me in the face was very angry, and it was also like very vulgar for like what it was. I was like, I can be vulgar, but not like this. So I kind of changed it, and when it came, and when it went into, I fell into your arms, I gave you what you need. This feeling, my head can't stop. Can you? I don't know what I said. I can't read my own writing. But eventually it changed to, when you bring me to my knees, and that kind of is like a dual nod of like when you're on your knees giving the, you know, but also kind of like being on your knees for someone, being like, I'm begging and pleading for you. You know what I mean? And it's almost like kind of like oh, I did everything. Like, I would have done anything for you, and you don't even care. Like, the contemplation and realization of that was kind of so evident in this song. And I feel like now I'm starting to understand, okay, I can be as blunt as I want and I can be as direct as I want, but I can also, I have the power to be so powerful with words. Like, I can be as poetic as I need to be now because I've explored how to be poetic, but I can also be as blunt as I want to be. And I feel like Wouldn't Even Know is so perfect for that because I think it combines the perfect amount of bluntness and harshness that it needs for the song and it needs for the sound, but also I was able to explore so much of um like creating little small little lines that like have dual meaning. It's like, for example, I start with a bluntness in the second verse, right? It's like, do you think of me when you're fucking her? That is what it is, right? And it's like, did it make you wet to leave me on? And I was like, okay, now it sounds really gross, so let's like dial it back. And it's like, I don't even know if it was all in my head, but then I was like, that sounds really cringe. And then I changed it to, I think I changed it like last minute to like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I dreamt what you said. Yeah, that was literally. Sorry, I know I just sing like musical vibe, but like that's me stimming and trying to like figure out what I'm trying to say. Um, and then it goes like, but my self sabotage won't leave me to bed. So yeah, that literally that line. It's so to me, it's dual meaning. You know what I mean? Um, it's kind of like the feeling of like, okay, my self sabotage, as in why do I keep falling for these men or whoever it is, like whatever gender, I don't like whoever it is, like why do I keep falling for the same type of people who don't give a fuck about me? But also my self sabotage, as in I don't put enough effort into myself, into knowing myself, and also kind of putting myself out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, why am I so like such an idiot all the time? Do you know what I mean? And then it goes, won't leave me to bed. And then that kind of goes into like, it's giving genius interview. uh, but like ass and in my bedroom. So won't leave me to bed kind of goes into like, oh, I am not gonna get laid if I keep acting so self-destructively, but also at the same time won't leave me to bed as in I'm not gonna be able to rest. I'm not gonna be able to like think about other things or sleep or just act out my normal life or just take a break from anything if this is consuming me all the time, you know what I mean? And the chorus restarts. So yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of where my songwriting journey is now. I feel like that has like impacted me so much. Like I think it's really I don't know how to explain. Like it just has like I think songwriting has took me on such a journey with like my emotions and just being able to write it out. And I just feel I've never been able to understand myself and my emotions because I feel like I lost the ability to cry as well sometimes. Like not sometimes, a lot of time. Like I want to cry and I just can't anymore because I used to suppress my emotions so much as a child. Not getting into childhood trauma today, but yeah, it's one of those things, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It really helped, and I think songwriting is one of those things where I just want to keep going and exploring myself. And I think the more I do it, the more I'm going to learn about myself, and the more I can be a better writer and like more. I hate saying this, but visionary. You know, and I really want to be more creative in this way. And I think songwriting helps me so much in understanding and music and sound is so interesting to me. I'm so nerdy about it. Not as nerdy as I am about film, but I'd say nerdy to the sense where I'm like, I really like exploring new sounds and being more experimental. And like, even though I think I'm gonna create like two kind of ambient kind of darker songs next, I might switch up to like really like deep like electronic like after, do you know what I mean? But obviously have it in my tone and kind of allow it to fit in my work, because I think of my work very collectively. Like if you look at like the shape of my art direction and kind of everything for like the cover art, even to the sense, I'm very particular and very fussy about the look of everything together, and kind of does it all tie into my world, and kind of like really at the end of it all come down to me, like does it feel like it's me, very me. um but that's it for that, really. um yeah, I hope this was informative, and I hope this was insightful, and I hope, I don't know, like I just want to do this more. Like I want to talk more as well. And I think I've just even if like one person views this, I'm pretty satisfied because one person was interested enough to watch this the whole way through. So yeah, thank you for listening. I'm Aaron. Bye bye.